Good morning, everyone. I'm sure we'll get a few sort of watchers coming in the next few minutes. If you are watching live, then morning and welcome. And hello to anyone that's going to be catching up with us later on as well. Thank you for watching. So we haven't been on for a Skin Collaborative chat for a little while. So we thought that we would jump on this morning, a few of us. Lots of you watching will know that it is Skin Cancer Awareness Month this month, and so in light of that we thought we would come on for a bit of a coffee and a chat about maybe things like generally sun safety, with the scary statistic that the vast majority of skin cancers are due to the overexposure to UV radiation, and therefore can be preventable. We feel that we should have a little chat today about general sun safety, sun exposure. So that's what we are here for, to look at the skin and potentially sort of what sun damage looks like. So we've got a few juicy topics to chat about today. So without further ado, let's look at our gorgeous panel here today, everyone. So it will be nice, I think, if we probably go around and like introduce ourselves. So Teresa, do you want to kick us off?
Good morning, everybody. I have my coffee at hand. I'm Teresa and I'm a skin specialist based in Staffordshire Moorlands.
Thank you. Frankie?
Hi, Frankie, and I am based in Reading with a lovely little skin clinic called Chrysalis.
Thank you. Tower?
Hi, everyone. I'm Tower Dowling. I'm a nurse prescriber and I'm based in Kent.
Thank you. And Sam?
Hi, my name's Sam Marshall. I've got a company called The Skin Guru and I'm based in Media City in Manchester.
Awesome, thank you, ladies. And I will just say hi, I am Anna. I have a beauty and skincare clinic in Milton Keynes called McCarthy Beauty Clinic. So hi to you all lovely ladies, thanks for joining me this morning. So as I say, a bit of a chat, an informal chat. It's been a little while since we've been on, so it's lovely to be back in the hot seat, chatting and being here for all our lovely page watchers. So yeah, let's have a little chat today about maybe just sun protection, SPF. I mean, everyone knows, of course, everyone should know what SPF is, but maybe we can have a little chat about, you know, the sort of daily benefits or, you know, levels of sun protection factor. We could maybe sort of kick off with that. So does anyone want to sort of start with SPF and share any thoughts on it?
I can offer a little bit around SPF and what's in it and why we use it, and you know, the different products that are out there. So SPF, it needs to protect you from UVA and from UVB. UVB is burning and UVA is what really is the killer for our skin, basically, biggest cause of photoaging, and we'll talk a lot about that in the next however long we're on for. There are two ways of protecting yourself when you've got an SPF. It can be a chemical-based SPF and it can be a mineral-based SPF. And when we talk about mineral, we're talking about containing probably quite a lot of zinc oxide. So the difference between the two is that a chemical SPF will allow the UVA in and break it down, and the mineral SPF will reflect it. Now, they've kind of done a lot of studies around this, and they say actually it's optimal to have mostly physical, but some chemical, because some UVA is always going to get through. So that's just a little summary on why we want an SPF. And then, of course, there's different factors of protection that you can get from the different. And the only other thing, my belief, I don't know if anyone else on the panel has, but my training is around the fact that up until you're around 30, you can probably get away with wearing an SPF 30. But after that, 30 to 35, when all the collagen stops getting produced, your elastin has already stopped at 25, it really is best to start moving to an SPF 50.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, isn't it, Frankie? Because when we think about what damage sun can do to our skin, when the damage becomes apparent from a long-term point of view, it's highly possible that that damage was created umpteen years ago, and not something that was as a result of something you did in the sun yesterday. And I certainly wish when I was younger and in my 20s, maybe even in my teens, that I got somebody saying to me, you really must look after your skin against the sun damage, because if you don't, you will pay for it later on in life.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, even in the UK, that you weren't being aware of it, because I grew up in Africa. I was from Zimbabwe. I mean, who knew what SPF was, honestly? You know, if we went to the beach, we'd lather it on, but I would have thought anyway. So yeah, I think it's globally, nobody kind of understood. And I have done a lot of work with my skin too for the damage that it's caused. A lot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's actually interesting, Frankie, that you pick up on the education part, because I think that is really important. A lot of people don't understand about the cumulative damage that occurs in the skin and how long that damage takes to actually show on the surface of the skin. And there's specific communities as well that think that SPF doesn't apply to them. You know, people of color, for example, have long thought that because they've got lots of melanin in their skin, they have natural protection against sun damage, and that's simply not the case. So, you know, I'm a Fitzpatrick 6 and I wear SPF 50 every single day. Whether it's sunny, raining, snowing, I wear SPF 50 every single day. And this is something that I've come to fairly late in life, actually. I'm 48 now, and I think I probably only really started wearing SPF regularly after I turned 40. So I've had a lot of cumulative damage that I am now, like Frankie says, having to do a lot of repair work to get my skin to the level that it is today. So yeah, I think it's really important that we educate people, that they understand that it's never too early to start wearing SPF, and it is something that it should be, it's a daily thing that you need. It's not something for just when you go on holiday or when it's summer. It's every single day, regardless of where you live, regardless of whether it's sunny, whether it's raining, etc. So that's my little bit to add to the conversation.
And that why it's every day, Tawa, is because it's the UVA. Yeah, it's not always about being burnt. So the UVA can come through glass, and you need to be really careful. Yeah. And in fact, I had a male client the other day, funnily enough, one side of his face. He said, "This has only just happened. Why?" Now, I literally asked him where his desk was at the house now, after COVID. And yeah, it was the side that faced the window. So that was in the time of COVID. That was a year. He was probably mid to late 40s. And it had taken 6 months for his skin to get damaged.
And it's interesting, isn't it, about the delayed reaction and seeing the damage further down the line. But actually as well, if you think about sort of when you get caught out and you know, the weather's great and you're out and about for maybe longer than you anticipate, and your skin feels fine and actually it's lovely, you're enjoying the sun, and then you think that you're going to be okay, and then that night you start to feel like you're glowing, and then you think and then someone will say, "Oh, look, your shoulder's red." But in that moment in the daytime, you're just not, you think you're going to say, "Oh gosh, I'm really feeling that now, I'm burning," but it's later on, and the damage is done, and it's just, we've all been there, and even if it's just a very small amount of redness, it's still damage, and it's frightening. And then also with the SPF on a daily basis, you know, sort of educating and advising people to do that is because also lots of people go, "Oh yeah, I'm going on holiday," you know, and they rummage through their drawers for their SPF from sort of like last year, and you think, "Oh no, like it's really please don't do that." And they, "Well, look, I've got 2/3 of a bottle," you know, and you think, "Oh my God." And it's so normal for people to do that. It is, but it's so not the right thing to do, because it has a sell-by date, it goes off, and it's, you know, you could really be opening yourself up to a lot of dangers by just going back to sort of, you know, the last year's stuff. So it really just should be something that you're replenishing, you're finishing, you're replenishing, because actually it shouldn't just be saved for holidays in the sunshine. It should be for every day, because those rays, they're always down.
And I just thought of something I wanted to ask Sam, actually, because Sam is the guru on waxing, if I can say. And do you do a lot of facial waxing? I mean, what's the kind of ramifications with wearing SPF and that kind of thing on that?
Oh yeah, totally. Anything I do on someone's face, they have SPF put on before they leave, and it's at least a 40. But yeah, especially after face waxing. And also we teach, when I teach about waxing typically male ears, to put SPF on them afterwards, because people don't think to put SPF on their ears. So if you just, strip the hair off it, that skin is going to be compromised. So there's a risk of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation.
Yeah.
In that area. Something I wanted to add.
Yeah, far away, Sam.
Sorry. As a mother as well, because someone once told me something which I thought was really interesting. It's like children aren't born with beauty spots or freckles. They're not. And also as a mother, I can see on my child's face, there's like, they come and then there's another one, and now he's started getting freckles across his nose, and you can really see these appearing. And that is from the sun, which I think is quite interesting to kind of see them coming about. And although I try and put SPF on him as much as possible, it's a bit of a battle.
Yeah. It's an indicator, isn't it, that if you start to get your freckles to appear, that you really do need to be careful about your skin for the whole of your life, because your skin is going to be prone to reacting to certain situations, and that is a clear indicator when we're very young. That needs to be a lesson that actually, if we are getting freckles, there's a reason why, and we need to protect. One thing I always say, and I educate my clients, SPF to me isn't sun protection factor, it's skin protection factor, because it protects your skin. It doesn't protect you from just the sun, it's protecting your skin for the rest of your life. So that's what I prefer to call it.
And on that note, it's really important that we make sure that when we're applying SPF, that we don't just slap a little bit on the bits of the face that we think will catch the most sun. I don't know if you guys all saw the video that was posted on social media not too long ago. An influencer who was applying SPF, and she applied it almost like contour.
It was Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's it. Thank you. I can't remember.
She's not an influencer, but yeah, she's an A-lister.
I watched it aghast. I thought, what is she doing? But yes, there's the tips of your ears, the back of your neck, all the way down to your décolletage, anywhere where the sun is going to catch you. And especially as it's getting warmer and we're wearing looser and more open clothing, there's going to be parts of our body that will be exposed to the sun in a way that they weren't when we were all bundled up in winter. So it's really important that you don't just apply the SPF to like the apples of your cheeks, like Gwyneth. Put it all over, down to the décolletage, all around the back of the neck, the ears. All those places are still prone to getting burnt and being affected by UVA and UVB rays. So it's really important that we consider full coverage when we're applying SPF and not just dotting it around.
Can I give a little interesting fact, just as you've just said about not getting burnt? I only remembered it this morning, I'm afraid, after looking at my notes, but it's just incredibly powerful. But basically that for 8 to 12 hours, your skin slows down once you've been burnt. But after that, it goes into complete overdrive. All the cell metabolism just goes completely into overdrive. And it creates, we'll talk a little bit more about photoaging and all those kind of things that happen. But eventually what happens is it's thickening your epidermis, which is not a good thing either. You might think it is, and you think you've now got a nice rhino horn against the sun. It's not. It's really bad. And ultimately, it's a lot of where some of the skin cancers come from, with the more surfacey kind of ones. So you start to get your little bit more keratoses coming up because of that, the skin thickening. So yeah, the damage lasts for a lot longer than even if you go home, like you said, Anna, in the evening and you kind of put something on to calm yourself. The skin is still reacting 24 to 36 hours later, and then months and years later, you're getting the effect.
Well, ultimately, a burn is a wound, isn't it? So your body has to respond in the same way.
Trauma. Yeah. We've got a few hellos on our Facebook page. So good morning to Shabana. Shabana's one of our fellow Skin Collaborative members. Now, Shabana agrees that growing up, she never thought that she needed SPF for her skin type. Shabana's probably Fitzpatrick 4,
Yeah.
That would I say, Shabana? And absolutely, you know, it's prime. Good morning to Kirsty, and hello, Maria. Gorgeous Maria is watching us as well.
Hi everyone, it's lovely to see you on. Okay, so while we're on that sort of topic of you know, application of sun protection factor, what is so yeah, move over Gwyneth, like we've realized that, you know, that's just crazy. So what should we, yeah, Teresa's got the little sign up. What should we, how should we be applying it? How much should we be applying it? How often? So Teresa, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, it brings me back to my days of the guides and the brownies. I don't know whether you younger ladies are actually sort of a lot younger than me, but we used to have this symbol. But a good guide for SPF on your face area, if you think about 2 fingers and you want to run, if you've got a liquid-based or a cream-based SPF, 2 fingers worth of the product on your fingers to go all over your face, your neck, and a little bit on your ears, because that is the prime area, and down here. Every time you apply SPF, think about the 2 fingers, and that gives you a good guide of applying SPF to your face, ears, and exposed areas from here.
Yeah.
And also reapplication.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Frankie, talk a little bit about reapplication, because I think that's where the downfall is for so many people. They start on the right, you know, method, first thing out in the exposure, or even just first thing in the morning. Doesn't matter if they're planning to be in the sun, but then it's the reapplication that either does or doesn't happen. So when should we be reapplying?
Yeah, scarily, SPF loses its efficiency 50% every hour. So after 1 hour, it's 50% less efficient. After 2 hours, it's 25% inefficient. Then it's 12.5%. If you're applying by 8 o'clock, by 12 o'clock, you might as well not have any on.
Wow.
So
Does that apply to sorry, does that apply to mineral and chemical? I was under the impression mineral lasted a bit longer, but I might be wrong.
I believe
Maybe.
it does slightly, but it doesn't last all day.
Yeah. It's exactly that. Now, on that sort of topic of mineral, there are, I think, you know, what would be great advice for people watching is there is so many more options of SPF now in versions for the face. You know, lots of people say to me like, oh yeah, but I've slathered it all on my face before, then I feel greasy, then I get spots, or I get a lot of runners that say, I can't put SPF on because I go out for a run and it all sweats into my eyes and then I literally can't see anything. So
they're not using the one then.
Sorry?
They're not using
the right one.
Quality, yeah.
Exactly, and that's the thing why it really helps to speak to a skin professional, because you can go into your high street chemist or your supermarket, and of course you can get a range or a few different ranges now of SPFs, but they can be quite generic. There's not going to be ones that are specifically for certain areas of the body, and there's also powder format for SPF as well, and lots of people still don't know that. And so actually you can be applying, if you don't want to have a cream based one, you can apply a powder, and it works as this amazing veil that just doesn't even feel like it's there. So there are options rather than sort of, well, I just won't do that because it doesn't feel right or it makes my eyes sting, whatever. There is no excuse actually, because there's so many different types. But it might be that you go into your local beauty clinic, beauty salon, skin clinic to actually get that specific product that will be right for you. So I think that's
a couple of sort of I'm amazed how many times people say, do I put my SPF on before my moisturizer? No. If you've got a cream based or a liquid based SPF, put it on after your moisturizer. But then we get some people saying, but I put my makeup on for the day. Well, the powder-based SPF that Anna mentioned, you can actually put those on top of your makeup. So you don't need to disturb your makeup. You can apply those powder SPFs on top of your makeup at lunchtime or in the afternoon with no issues at all.
And some of those powder SPFs also come in various tints and colours. So you can incorporate them into your makeup regime without necessarily feeling like you've lost the chance to have a little bit of a collar top up with your SPF. So you don't need to forego or miss out on things like your makeup or your foundation. You can have SPF that incorporates that, but it needs to be a specific SPF that's formulated to actually protect, not the kind that you get that already comes within your makeup. That's maybe SPF 15. That's not going to do the job. You need something that's specifically formulated to protect your skin.
Yeah.
And then one last thing about application of SPF, believe it or not, we are actually going to recommend that you leave it off for 15 minutes every day.
Yeah.
So we do, when clients come into me, I tell them that around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, keep it in your bag if you're at work or whatever, keep it in front of your desk in the office so you don't forget at home if you're working. Go outside and try and get 15 minutes UVA and UVB into your skin, because it's incredibly powerful for the skin in very small, short doses. And for people with acne, it is incredible.
Yeah.
But there's lots of other health benefits, but mostly people with acne, it's been proven. I mean, in the 50s and 60s, that was the way you were told to get rid of your acne, was go and sit in the sun for an hour. They know that's too much now. 15 minutes is optimal.
Yeah, and that is the guideline, isn't it? You know, we do need to have some exposure without any protection on, but really up to about 15 minutes. I mean, I've got 3 small boys, and it always happens every year, whether when they were at nursery or now at school, where the letter goes home where it's like, please put sun protection lotion on your children before they come into school. And they probably go, oh, wow, Mrs. McCarthy Birch, we know what she's going to say. Because what I actually end up saying is that I've taught my children to apply sun protection factor, and they have a little bottle in their bag. And on the first break, they will go out without it on, because it's a 15-minute morning break. And then for the next lunch break, they will have it applied. So they will just like, okay, that's fine. But I just, that I want them to just have that first time when they're first out in the morning, to just have that 15 minutes. So yeah, it's good to know that, you shouldn't just instantly cover up, but just a small amount. 15 minutes is advised.
What kind of age are we putting SPF onto the children?
Birth.
I was putting SPF on my kids from birth, and I looked around for a formulation that was gentle enough, because both my children had sensitivity in their skin almost from birth. So I needed to make sure that it wasn't going to irritate, it wasn't going to be comedogenic, it wasn't going to clog up their skin. But I found light formulations that they could use. And as they've grown up, they've kind of changed the way that they use SPF, in that they now basically steal mine. But it works for all of us. And yeah, I used it on them pretty much from birth. And ironically, I was putting SPF on my daughters long before I realized that I needed to wear it every day as well, because my mind was in that protective parent mode, and I didn't really think about the effects of the sun on my own skin. And I think a lot of mothers are the same. They will send their kids to school with SPF, they'll make sure that they're wearing the SPF every single day, but they don't necessarily remember to put it on themselves. So it is important that we all kind of make sure as a family that we're all using it, and we're using it every day.
I have another question actually for Tawa. For skin of color, does it help, because the natural mechanism of skin of color is to produce more oil against sun, right? So oily skins. Does using a mineral SPF help that?
Well, actually, I've gone through different SPFs over the last few years, trying to find one that actually works for my skin. My skin, as you can see by my little shininess here, I do tend towards the oily. So I find that an oil-free SPF works best for me. And both my daughters have very similar skin, so we all use the same one. And without sort of bigging up any particular product over another, I find that Heliocare range works superbly for me and for my skin. They do have other types of SPF within their range, but the oil-free SPF that I use with them, I haven't found one that beats it for my skin, because I prefer to have a matte look. And if I didn't have that SPF on, and if I didn't sort of reapply it throughout the day, I would feel very shiny, and much more so than this. So for me, because I don't wear makeup, I need to make sure that my skin at least looks good. And I find that I can have my skin looking good and protected in one product. So yeah, it is because most of my clients who come to me who are people of color, that's their number one concern when I start talking about SPF. And sometimes that can be a reason for them not to use it, because they find that it just kind of
I get
slides
it a
off their
lot.
face. So I find having a decent oil-free brand that I have personal experience of, it helps to kind of show people that yes, there is some protection out there for you. You just have to find the right one. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that it's so key, isn't it? Because there definitely is something out there for everyone, every certain type of skin, but it's even the same with skincare generally, like say moisturizers. I'll talk to clients about what moisturizer they're using, and they say, well, I don't really use one. And I'll say, wow, okay, you're not using moisturizer. Well, honestly, I've tried so many and they've made my skin react, or they've made my spots worse, or they've made me really shiny. So now I just don't use anything. And you know, there is something for that person's skin that's going to just absolutely be the best thing and turn their skin around. But people start to go, oh, I just don't know anymore, so I won't use anything. And it's, you know, it's so important that people are. So yeah, getting rid of
Michaels.
Sorry, I was just going to say, out of all the products, when I've got a new client in who comes in, of all the products that I give samples of, it's the SPF, because it's a very personal, very personal. So I think that would be my recommendation to people when they're going into a skin clinic or a salon. Try, rather than spend 30 or sometimes 40 quid on a SPF, try and do a sample, make sure it sits nicely.
Just one good comment that's coming from Maria, just to confirm that we've mentioned that it is often a good idea to have 10-15 minutes at some point throughout the day without your SPF on, but make that 10 or 15 minutes either in the morning, early on, or later in the day, not during the height of the sun, because that's when we actually need the highest protection. So we need to make sure when we're getting our vitamin D production from the sun, that it's in the morning or later in the evening, because the height of the sun is very powerful at in the afternoon.
I think
I'll change my verbiage to my clients. We all learn.
100%. And you know, teaching your children to apply it. I mean, literally, my children are 9, 7 and 5, and I feel like I still have to dress them, and sometimes I even feed them.
I'm much older than yours, and I have to do the same. No, not quite.
But the things that they need to do when I'm not with them, that I think, well, actually, you know, like with all the hand sanitizing, my 9-year-old's getting quite sort of, you know, sore knuckles and things. So it's all about the things that you're like, well, apply this to your skin, because, you know, it's your skin. You need to look after it. You need to know how to. But yeah, I've said that, like I say, and I'm still tight, like putting their shoes on in the morning. You know, it's what can you do? But they do know how to put, suntan lotion on. So yeah, it's really important. So so oh, hang on, Maria's popped up, best pro aging product, I mean, literally, that's a great one, Maria. You know, SPF, it's the best pro aging product. You know, premature aging is from the sun. You know, there's no getting away from it. You know, lots of clients sort of say to us, don't they, sort of, oh, you know, what's this mark on my skin, or my skin feels a bit funny here, what is it? And then when you sort of say, well, you know, it's sun damage, it's from the sun, and you know, they don't marry the two. You know, it's real. And premature aging is real.
Absolutely. And I think 80 to 90% of any premature aging is as a result of daylight and sun exposure, and can be totally preventable.
That's
good. And also sorry, Frankie, in TV, when they age people, they put age spots on them. So if you look at Snow White and the Huntsman, Benjamin Button, yes, they give them some lines, but they give them a face full of age spots, because that is something that visually ages people. I was on a course the other day, and one of the models was this woman who was fit. She's probably actually Fitzpatrick 4 to 5. And she had so many sunspots. and I was like, she said, oh yeah, I'm trying to fix it at home with microneedling and chemical peels. I was like, tell me you're wearing an SPF. And she was like, and I was just like, oh, can you imagine? I was like having palpitations. I was like, please stop doing that to your skin. And she'll just make it worse. She thinks she's fixing it by you know, aggressive, but yeah.
Well, it comes down to prevention is better than cure, isn't it? You know, that's it. That's what it comes down to. But it's so, there's so many, like Frankie said, we're learning all the time, aren't we? There's so many little bits to do with, you know, sun protection that you think, oh yeah, that is so important. And I didn't necessarily consider that myself. And we're skin professionals, you know, this is why these chats are just so informative, not just for you guys out there, but for us. We love it, but we're just obsessed with skin, so it's all good. But yeah, I mean, does anyone, before we wrap it up, does anyone want to mention? Frankie, did you want to mention?
I was going to just say a couple of the biological things so people really understand why the UVA is so damaging to our skin. So when it gets in, it damages, when the light gets through, it damages the organelles that are in our cells. It can actually affect the DNA strands, and it affects the mitochondria, which is the energy of our cells. Okay, this is not us telling you to come and see a skin professional so we can fix your skin. You are doing it to yourself, really. So you need to really make sure that you stop that UVA getting in. And it also, there's a gene that when UV light comes in, it slows down the cell renewal for everybody as well. So that gene can get upset, and it's just a cascade of the cell metabolism not working well. There's a couple of other things that UVA can do. People who suffer from herpes simplex, it's dormant most of the time, but UVA can trigger it. It goes into one of the organelles, one of the Langerhans cell, and it triggers that simplex virus to come up again. So lip balm, SPF lip balm as well, all around the face will be helpful. And then another thing that it does in relation to pigmentation is it can trigger the tyrosine enzyme a bit more, which then triggers off more pigmentation. And that can be very deep and very often comes up once you are 40, 45, once you have hormonal imbalances and your estrogen levels are going all over the place, and we know why, then that all starts to come up and surface really badly. So that there's science behind it. There's science behind why we age and why it ages us so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, and it's, you know, hopefully some food for thought for people out there. Anything else before we maybe wrap it up? It's been great though.
Where do we start? I mean, we've got so much we can educate people on about their skin and how the environment affects the skin, and I think we actually need to get back to doing more of these sessions to educate everybody, because we've got so much. The skin is your biggest organ of the body, and it's very, very complex. And
let's do stress next time.
Absolutely, our job is to educate you about your skin, so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, fabulous. I'll just, before we wrap it up, lots of hearts. That's lovely. Sharon says we also need to be careful on the high voltage emissions light from all the devices that we use daily. Absolutely, especially during lockdown. Facing the computer all day long became one of our daily routines. The blue light also does the same damage and ages our skin. It's absolutely right. Yes, thank you, Sharon. And we've talked before now about how you need to make sure that lenses in your sunglasses or just in your normal glasses are have that blue light filter, and actually your sunglasses have proper UV filters, because there's some gorgeous fashionable sunglasses out there, but actually they're not doing anything, and the damage can be done to your eyes. And actually, you know, the herpes simplex, like you say, being triggered, that can actually come around the eye area as well. So, you know, we need to be lip balming up, but we need to be, you know, using our eyewear to protect us, whether it's the blue light or whether it's, you know, the outdoor UV radiation. So, yeah, no, so thank you for that. Holly says, thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, Holly. Thank you for watching. It's been, we just love it. So I hope it's been really helpful. Yeah, I mean, should we sort of wrap it up there, guys? Any last sort of points, or I think we've covered most things, haven't we?
Just wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Forget about the last 40 minutes, just wear sunscreen, okay?
Yeah. but wear one that's specifically for your face and your skin, not just your holiday one that you pick off the shelf. It needs to be one that's got other things in it to help to treat your skin, that hopefully will be recommended by somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sam, for that last point there. Do check us out on all our other platforms. So we are on Twitter, we have a YouTube channel, we are on LinkedIn, Instagram. We love your support, but we would love it if you could follow us on all our platforms because it makes us feel great. So yeah, thank you all of you, whether you've been watching live or you'll catch us later. Thank you all for your support, and we hope you've really enjoyed it today. Please stay tuned because we are back, guys. We've had a little bit of a quieter period because we've all been back working, yay! But you're going to be seeing a lot more of us on this page because we love chatting to you guys. So yeah, have a great day, everyone, and stay safe in the sun. Thanks, ladies, for joining me as well. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.